we go. Now we're talking.
Welcome to the Holistic Kid Show. My name is Zane.
My name is Dula.
And I'm Dimag.
We're the Holistic Kids here to educate us kids from the inside out. The CDC recently reported that drownings are on the rise for the first time in decades. Children ages 1 to 4 saw one of the largest increases, up 22% in 2022 compared to 2019. Drowning remains the leading cause for accidental death in the age range and the second leading cause of older children. Drowning death rates for Black people were 28% higher in 2021 than 2019. 54%, over half of the U.S. adults have never taken a swim lesson.
That is crazy.
It is crazy. So, yes, and for the first time on this show, we are interviewing an Olympian.
This Black History Month of February, Cullen is bringing awareness of water safety disparity in Black and underdeserved communities. Cullen Jones is a world champion swimmer, world record holder, and even an Olympic gold medal, who has made it his mission to spread the important message of water safety and drowning prevention. After a near drowning experience as a child, Cullen was immediately put in swimming lessons, where it became very clear that he had a natural talent as a swimmer. Cullen worked tirelessly to shatter stereotypes and help promote diversity and inclusion in the sport. He actually became the first African-American man to win a golden medal at the World University Games in 2005. Wow. And the first Black swimmer to hold a world record in his Olympic swimming career. Cullen actually even won 4 medals. That's amazing.
Amazing.
Thanks, guys.
And he continues to make waves for water safety, advocating for access to life-saving swim lessons for all children. Cullen serves as an ambassador and even a board member for the USA Swimming Foundation, the philanthropic arm of USA Swimming, and works with Goldfish Swim School to advocate for water safety and enjoy being a Goldfish Dad to his son, Ayvn.
So, wow, you were seriously our hero. We mentioned your story briefly, but we would love to know how you were motivated. What motivated you to go into the Olympics? We would love to hear.
First off, you guys crushed it. Thank you for reading that off. And I know that sometimes people can hear these numbers and it can be a little, daunting and get a little upset because the numbers are raising up because we were doing such a great job of bringing them down. But like you said, I was almost one of these statistics. At the age of 5, I nearly drowned. I was with my parents. I was at a water park. And I think a lot of times when you hear stories or you see it in theater, someone's, going under or having trouble, help, help, help. Well, that's not what happened. A lot of times drownings are silent. I was fully supervised. There was lifeguards there. My parents were there. I wasn't horseplaying. I was going down a ride with my parents. My dad went first. I went second. My mom went last. And because I was tall enough, they allowed me on, but I didn't have swim lessons. So when I hit the pool of water coming after this tunnel that was shooting me out really fast, I flipped upside down. And I did the one thing my dad told me to do, which was to hold on to the inner tube. Now, if I'd had swim lessons, I'd know to kind of let go, bob down, maybe touch the floor to come up and say help. Because if someone would have heard me say help, maybe that would have happened a lot faster. But I was underwater for almost 40 seconds. And they say a child can have brain damage from being under for 30. So they had to resuscitate me. I woke up and the first thing out of my mouth was, what's the next ride we're getting on? Because I was 5 at a water park and I didn't want to leave.
So as a world champion swimmer, diversity advocate, and water safety ambassador for Goldfish Swim School, we would love to know how your health routine and what you prioritize as an Olympian.
Wow. So some of the health routine is just trying to be as consistent as possible. Listen, we are all human. I like pizza. I like burgers. I like fries. I like ice cream. I like it all. Right. But when I'm training, I have to be very, very focused on eating the right things. So my mom used to always tell me, whatever you put into your body, that's the fuel that's going to help you swim as fast as you can. So I hated Brussels sprouts, guys. Hated it. But my mom said, if you eat Brussels sprouts, you'll go fast. And I ate a lot of Brussels sprouts. Did it help? I don't know, but I did swim faster. So I don't know if you have to eat Brussels sprouts, but I think having greens, eating broccoli, green beans, whatever it is, making sure that you're eating healthy does help. And it's not just in the pool or in your athletic abilities. It's also in the classroom. It helps you with memory. It helps you with focus. So I think nutrition is very, very important. From the other side, it's just time management, making sure that you're on time. My dad was a stickler. If you're on time, you're late. So I had to always be 10 to 15 minutes early before I got anywhere.
Some people are scared of water. Where should someone start?
That's a great question. And you guys brought up Goldfish. So one of the big reasons why I've partnered for the last 3 years with Goldfish was because I saw a very, very good friend of mine. She's basically my sister, and her daughter calls me her uncle. So my niece was going to Goldfish in Indiana. And as a swimmer, as an Olympian, I'm watching her doing things so quickly. She's learning to breathe. She's already moving forward and kicking in her arms and everything. I was like, wow, her progress has come a long way in such a short amount of time. Like, what are you doing? She goes, Goldfish. And so when I had my little guy, I am a firm advocate of getting your children in the water as soon as possible. So at about 4 months, he was at Goldfish because I'm the fun dad and I can teach any person to swim except my own son because he doesn't listen to me. So I went to Goldfish and he went there. He fell in love with all of his teachers. And now at 5 years old, where I was having trouble, he is swimming the width of the pool. He's swimming side to side. So I couldn't be more proud of him. And I owe that all to Goldfish. It's such an amazing franchise, but more importantly, it's such an amazing place for families and little ones to learn to swim.
Well, that's amazing.
That is amazing.
That is amazing.
So how do you, like, as the first African American Olympian, swimmer Olympian, how did you deal with like racism coming at you?
Well, I think that's another big piece of my life now. As soon as I saw my son and he said, Daddy, I want to swim, my whole life changed because I thought about all the things that happened to me. When I was a young swimmer, I used to get the pink and purple ribbon. That's 6th and 7th place for all those that are asking. I was not very good, but as soon as I started getting better, that's when I started hearing more from parents than swimmers. You know, why are you here? Shouldn't you be playing basketball? And just things like the minor microaggressions all through my career. It got worse in college, but it definitely happened throughout my career. And when I look at my son, I want him to understand that this sport that he and I both love is welcoming and open for him. So you read off before, I sit on the board for USA Swimming Foundation. That's my way. I want to be as close to our national governing body to hear the problems that are happening and be a mentor for all those people of color that are in the sport, because we want this sport to look like this country. It looks like everybody. It needs to be everybody, and it needs to be welcome for everybody. So that's how I dealt with it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Especially because nowadays most people, they only think, unfortunately, some people, they only think of certain groups or certain things as one color. And that's why diversity is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. We need to stop segregating each other and putting ourselves into these boxes. We are all one people, and especially in the water, when you start looking at these drowning rates, drowning does not look at one sector of people. It doesn't happen that way. Now, there are certain groups that do, like Black Americans, they drown much more than any other race, but it does not matter. Drowning is happening for all of us, especially in the US. It is at an epidemic level. The CDC has already said it. And the best way to fix that is swim lessons. So I wanted to nip that in the bud with my son. I didn't want to think about it. I like going near water. I'm a fish. He's a fish. Get him swim lessons.
So what was your first step when you wanted to help these drowning rates and help and prevent a lot of people from losing their lives to the drowning? What was the first thing that you did?
Well, it didn't hurt to have a gold medal. So right after I got the gold medal, that was my moment to kind of speak on what I believed in. And something that I believed in is, and I was still kind of blown away, guys. I was blown away. I had just got a gold medal. I nearly drowned at 5, and here I am holding a gold medal, one of the fastest in the world. And I wanted that feeling for other people as well. And so I started thinking about people that made fun of me for wearing little Speedos. Yes, I still wear Speedos. It's okay. That's what I wear, but that's what we do in swimming. And I wanted other people that I knew that made fun of me for that. They were in danger. They don't know how to swim. I have family members that don't know how to swim and they're in danger. How can I help them? And then it grew into, how can I help everyone? And so after getting that gold medal, I started working with the USA Swimming Foundation, and then later became an ambassador for Goldfish. And I'm still doing it. I'm still trying to talk as much as I can. I'm on the show with you guys to talk about how important it is so that all of your listeners hear it, because we want to drop these drowning rates. We want people to understand how important it is to learn to swim. It is a life skill. Learn to walk, learn to talk. Yeah, you can learn to ride a bike, but definitely learn to swim.
Wow.
Mhm. For someone that almost lost his life, the swimming, did it cause any stress going back to like the pool? How do you deal with stress that comes
Yes.
to Olympics?
That's a great question. So yes, I think we definitely all have stress in some way, shape, or form. It's very different. When I was younger, it was tests that I had to study for, and as an adult, it's work. So I think stress is always something that we're going to always have to deal with. Standing behind the blocks at the Olympics is a little bit of stress. For me, it was always about trying to be as prepared as possible. So when it was getting ready for a test, I was trying to study as hard as I could. When it came to the Olympic Games, I was studying as hard as I could. I was thinking about the training, looking at other swimmers. How can I be better? How can I make myself better? And honestly, I take a lot of mentorship from people that I've been blessed enough to meet, but people like Kobe Bryant, people like Michael Jordan, who say you just got to be 1% better every day. So I think if everyone tries to be 1% better every single day, they will reach most of their goals. So for me, sometimes it was not having the pizza and eating the salad. Whatever it was, I wanted to be prepared. So the best thing I think everyone can do to try to lower stress is to try to prepare as best as possible.
Wow. I mean, that's so motivational and inspirational. So I'm so glad that you're sharing that. But when it comes to, especially because the water, or at least for me, I used to have a big fear of sharks.
Okay.
So, like when going into the like deeper pools, do you also feel a little fear? And how do you deal with the fear?
So that's a great segue. So sharks, I think we can all have a healthy fear of a shark. I think we want to keep that. That's okay. But when it comes to the deep end, those fears can go away when you start to feel comfortable in the water. And that happens when you have swim lessons. You're taught how to move the waters to keep your head above the water, to use less energy. And that's why it's so important to have these swim lessons. If you put me after 5 years old, 5-year-old me that just drowned, it took me 5 different teachers before I started feeling comfortable again. First one, oh, that didn't work. Second one, oh, that didn't work. Most people would have quit at that point. But my mom was persistent. So third, fourth, and fifth. And the fifth coach, that was the one that I started to feel a little bit better. So when I started looking at the deep end, I was still nervous, very, very nervous. But the more and more I started working on things, the better and better I got at it. And I think that goes for anything. A lot of people are afraid of public speaking. A lot of people would be really scared to talk to you guys, but look at you. You guys have a show. You guys have been crushing it. I was nervous to come talk to you. I had to sit back. I had to think about it. I had to relax, and I had to breathe. That is some of the best things you can do to deal with fear. Breathing. Okay. When it comes to being prepared for something, when you're facing your fear, which I highly recommend everyone to do, it's okay to be uncomfortable facing your fears. Breathe and work towards overcoming it. Don't let it beat you.
That's amazing.
That
And
is
it's actually,
amazing.
honestly, it's our pleasure for you to be on our show. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, like you mentioned breathing. Were there any other coping mechanisms that you used to help you become better at swimming and overcome your challenges?
I think it's so important to have mentors, to have people that you look up to. For me, it was Gary Hall Jr. I mean, again, I watched people like Michael Jordan. I watched people like Kobe Bryant, LeBron, and I just watched how they came to the court. They were ready to go. I'm a big basketball fan, and for me, it was like when I watched them put up so many points when some people weren't able to put up the same amount of points. They were putting the team on their back. My dad used to tell me that's what an athlete does. And so for me, it was, I just wanted to emulate that. So I always had people that I looked up to. And I think we all usually do. It could be someone that's in our class. It could be our favorite teacher. I think it's so important that we have those people that we can really tell them that we're nervous and then work through some of that or work through how we're going to get better. So I highly recommend people find good mentors. It's important that I say good mentors to help you get to that next level.
So we have seen other swimmers use integrative therapies, as we have seen others with those cupping marks on their backs. Did you ever use that?
Yes, I did do cupping. I still do cupping. It is one of the we've been doing it for a very long time. I just think that 2016 when Phelps came out with all of them all over, everyone's like, what is he doing? But cupping is an amazing way to move a lot of the lactic acid that we have in our bodies that are really tight because we're overusing certain muscles like our shoulders in swimming. So yes, I did a lot of that. I did acupuncture, cryotherapy, red light. I did it all to try to figure out how to get to the top.
So I know a lot of times with the path of going to the Olympics, I've heard that a lot of times it's more straining mentally than physically. Like the mental challenge I've heard is crazy compared to the actual doing. So how did you overcome that mental barrier to achieve your very best self?
So I have always, and I still am, I love psychology. I've always loved like self-help, all of that. And I think it stemmed when I lost my dad at 16 from lung cancer. And my mom said, you're going to go to college. You're going to go away to another state. I want to make sure you're okay mentally. So she had me see a psychiatrist when I was 17 years old. And he was one of the coolest guys. And I was like, this is what you do for a living? You talk to people and help people? I want to do this. So I went to school for it. I ended up getting a minor and majoring in English, but I've always had that love for it. So I pay attention to a lot of really great people in the same field, your Simon Sinek's, your Jay Shetty's, and I was really focused on reading as much as I could. When you're behind the block, it is one of the most intense feelings, especially at the Olympics. You know that millions are watching you. There's cameras everywhere. It's a very easy place for you to get overwhelmed. And so breathing techniques, I have a sports psychologist. I have an everyday psychologist that I speak to. I think it's so important that we work on mental health. And I'm so grateful that while many of us were doing it on the side for us to try to get to that next level, Michael Phelps came out and he actually spoke about it. And it really changed a lot for the Olympic sport, where more people felt comfortable to speak about what they were going through. So I think mental health is very, very important. And of course, being behind the block, it's always tested. So again, going back, prepare.
Yeah, I love that. Because obviously, you can do the best way to overcome that stress is to do the best that you can. That's what I feel like.
Exactly.
Because as
100%
long as you
right.
do the best that you can and you do what you need to do, then that's the best way to help anxiety, to feel like, oh, what am I going to do? So
Every
thank you
time.
so much for sharing that.
Yes, every time. You're 100% right. I mean, if I didn't swim well in a race and I know I didn't give 100%, do you know how much worse that car ride home was? And now I'm upset that I didn't swim well, but I'm more upset at myself because I know I didn't give it 100%. Whatever you do, give it 100% or don't do it at all. That has been always my mantra. If it's school, I'm giving it 100. If it's at work, 100%. If it's who can eat ice cream the fastest, I'm giving it 100%. No matter what, no matter what the topic is. And I think that that's something that I would love my son to do as well, because I think that, again, I remember when I was swimming and I came home those couple of times where I didn't do it, I felt so much worse. And it was worse for my psyche. It was worse for my mental. So you're 100% right. Give it 100.
Oh, you are so empowering.
So empowering.
So empowering.
So
Thanks, guys.
we love what you are doing. Our dad's first cousin died from drowning, and it increased his fear of the water, and especially in our grandparents' fear.
Yeah.
So when should someone start to learn to swim?
So that's the beauty of swimming. There's never too early and it's never too late. My mom is in the pool now. She does water aerobics. She grew up her entire life being afraid of the water. So I feel for everyone who's had a negative experience. I've gone through it myself. It's not an easy road to come back from that fear, but I cannot impress upon people enough. When it comes to swimming, it is a life skill. I have been traveling for over 20 years, speaking to kids all over the world. And I say, how many of you like to get in the water? I have yet to not see people's hands in the air. Every kid's hands in the air. And those are the kids, even that have had negative experiences. We want to make sure that we get kids to learn to swim, and big kids too, because it's never too late to swim. 4 to 6 months, get in that pool. 70, 80, 90, get in that pool. Doesn't matter.
Like sometimes people say, I'll learn to swim on my own. What do you say to them?
I can't roll my eyes hard enough. No, and don't say, oh, I could get to the wall or get to safety if I had to. No, that is a glaring red flag for me every single time I hear it. If you have not had formal swim lessons, to me, you do not know how to swim. If you have not been tested by a lifeguard, by someone who's certified to know how to swim, that is not safe. You want to go to a place where you can learn to swim. I recommend Goldfish, but I believe in this so strongly that as long as you are going to a place that has someone that is certified to teach, I'm happy. I just want you to learn to swim.
No. So yeah, I mean, even we didn't at first want to swim, but our mom is the one that like pushed us. She's like, "You guys need to get in the water. What happens if we the Titanic, something like that happens? Then
It's
then
true.
we're gonna need how to save our life." So yeah, you're right. It is a life skill, and we should really encourage really getting into the pool
Absolutely.
and like learning from certified people.
Way to go, Mom. I'm with her. Yes. Go out there and learn to swim. I don't know about the Titanic reference, but yes, I want everyone to learn to swim.
So like also like a lot of people are like, I don't like the water, so I'll stay away from that. Is that true? Is that true that most drownings happen when someone is not in like ready to swim?
Yes, actually 70% is when people are actually in full clothing. So again, it just is so important to learn. Two people walking side by side next to water, someone pushes them in. If they both know how to swim, they're laughing. It's funny. You push me in the pool. I'm going to come get you. I'm going to throw you in the pool. Now it's funny. One person doesn't know how to swim in that situation. It's a life or death situation at that point. You know, when I've been a lifeguard for over 20 years, and they teach you reach, throw, do not go. And these are things that you will learn in formal lessons. If someone's drowning or someone is in distress, you don't throw yourself at them. You don't put your hand out to them. They want air. They would drown a family member and pull them down to get air because your body is in fight or flight. You don't have control at that point. You're just trying to get air. These are the things that you learn when you have formal lessons that some people unfortunately don't know. And then one person's in trouble, the other person tries to save them, and now they're both in trouble. So again, please, 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 please go learn to swim, learn these safety lessons, because like you said, most accidents that, especially in the summertime, that are happening, a lot of them are happening when people are not even in a swimsuit.
So that's so inspirational.
So inspirational. It's yeah, you're right.
That's why I want to ask, what is your biggest tip for somebody that's trying to learn how to swim, that's in the process of swimming, that they're either trying to become like a better Olympian, or they're just trying to become a better at saving their own life? What is your number one tip?
My number one tip would be to go find someone to get certified lessons. That would be my first tip. The other piece I'm going to say here, and this is from a good friend of mine, Jamal Hill. He started this during COVID. He put a bucket in front of people, and he was on any platform that was virtual call. And he put his face in and was teaching them how to turn their head in the water. So many people, the hardest thing for them is to learn the breathing part. So now they're at home and they're practicing the breathing so that when they get to their body of water, whether that be a lake or a pool or even an ocean, they have been practicing. They are already a step ahead. So you can do this from the comfort of your home, a bowl and water, putting your face in, and practice the breathing. Practice the breathing. If you're not comfortable, put your face forward. But the practice at home will make you just a little step further. That's a little free swim lesson for you.
Yeah, even though it sounds silly, it can truly save your life. So definitely don't think about what other people are saying and focus on how can you better yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So this was such a powerful episode. And thank you again, Mr. Cullen. We cannot thank you enough.
Well, thank you both. Oh, well, thank you both. Thank you all three for having me. This has been so much fun. And again, for all the listeners, keep staying tuned. You guys are great. I love seeing young entrepreneurial folks doing stuff like this. Keep it up. And I hope to come back sometime.
Well, we definitely hope you do come back because it will be another pleasure to have you on again.
Well, thank you.
So now let's recap Mr. Cullen's key points. With drowning on the rise, swimming is an essential skill. It's a lifestyle skill that will save your life. It's never too late to swim.
You just gotta be 1% every day, and you'll be better every single day. Be prepared to lower stress. Swim lessons are absolutely needed when you face your fear. Breathe and work towards overcoming. Always have your mentors and have people you looked up to. Whatever you do, give it 100%, no matter what. Learn to swim today. Get real life in-person certified lessons.
And thank you everyone for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Zain Ansari.
I'm Abdullah.
And I'm Imad.
Follow my family and I on social media, Holistic Mom D, and look out for our book releasing 2025 September called The Teen Health Revolution. And kids need to learn from other kids. Please download our podcast on iTunes and leave a review so other kids and families can benefit. We need to create a healthy future for all of us and the planet. Join us next week for another episode of the Holistic Kid Show, where kids are empowering kids. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.